Well, the Katters are a famous Australian name when it comes to politics. The no-nonsense Queenslanders have been representing parts of North Queensland for the best part of the 1960s, or since the 1960s, I should say. Most political observers are aware of Bob Katter. More and more of us are becoming aware of his son, Robbie Katter, and he joins us now here in Townsville. Robbie, good to see you. So, did your dad scare you off politics?
Yeah, it did actually.
It did?
Yeah,
Why are you doing it then?
I don't know, mate. I just felt the urge. I thought there was a crying need for a voice at the time, and we couldn't find anyone. And thought, well, that might have to be me, even though I don't think I'm suitable, but I think I've grown into it fairly well.
All right, well, you're making some waves, and we'll go through some of the topics now. We'll start off with crime, because, you know, we've spoken about this on my show quite a few times, our first edition. So I just want to get your thoughts on detention with purpose. So this is the latest announcement from David Crisafulli. You know, things like taking TVs off kids in detention. I mean, is that tough enough?
Well, it's probably not tough enough, but it's a step in the right direction.
Right.
Look, we've delivered a few solutions into the Queensland Parliament over the years. Detention last resort, getting rid of that. We said adult crime, adult time, and then we said, and for 7 years we're saying bush sentencing. All three have been mimicked, copied, and that's great. That's gratifying that the LNP's adopted those, and that shows that we can do things from North Queensland for the rest of Queensland in crime. But it's disappointing that they've been sitting watching us drive this for years, 7 years for bush sentencing, and they adopt it 2 weeks before an election. That's the frustrating thing. It's why, you know, governing from Brisbane, we need people up here that can put solutions on the table and hard solutions. The kids need a consequence, and that's what bush sentencing was all about. But castle law is the big one, and castle law is still the one that we're very determined to get a result.
Okay, we'll get more on that in just a moment. But adult crime, adult time. I mean, my question about this is, what happens when the prisons and the detention centres get so full?
Well,
what are you going to do then?
That's a very good point, and that's why we've always said bush sentencing is a big part of the answer, particularly with the youth. So if you've got, you know, 10, 20 remote areas that you're looking at 5, 10 million tops to set one of those up, they're talking about 500 million. Anastasia Palisade said for 2 new centres in Queensland was only like 50, 100 kids, extra kids. So it's a cost-effective way of giving kids a real consequence, which is why we've pushed it for 7 years, and LNP have now adopted it. Okay,
let's get to your candidate, Michael Pugh. He's running in Mundingburra.
Yeah.
He's got a criminal past, though. He's pleaded guilty to burglary, stealing with violence.
Yeah.
This all happened 20 years ago, mind you. But does he have your support?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so, I mean, we had this 6, 12 months ago, and, yeah, it was a tough decision. What do we do? But I think he's crossed the threshold of redemption. You know, when it's 20 years ago and they've done so much community work and turned their life around, and they were in a bad spot and did some silly things and their kids. You know, everyone's got a bit of a past, and some is worse than others, but it's what have you done since then? And we like to look forward. We don't like to look back. Unfortunately, the LNP's dug something up from 20 years with a week down the election. When everyone's looking for hope and solutions, the best they can do is trying to rip into one of their candidates. I don't know if that's what people want to hear.
Okay, but when you've got someone who is campaigning on anti-crime, isn't it then hypocritical?
I can see how
to have been a criminal in the past?
That's a fair enough proposition to put forward, but I'd say no, because I think people lived experience often give. There's a lot of people that have been in the prisons that now work with kids because they say, don't do what I did, and can give that insight. So, you know, we try and select real people. We don't get lawyers and people out of political offices to run for our party. We get real people for the community, and they come with warts and all, you know, but there's still a threshold they've got to cross in terms of what are they doing in their community, how do they conduct themselves now. So for the last 20 years, he's conducted himself superbly running community groups, and we've got the feedback and he's got the supporters now. So, yeah, look, it's an ugly part of his past, but we're willing to live with that because he's a real person that we think can help.
Let's go to abortion, because you've certainly been making some waves on this particular topic in the past couple of weeks. So you want to put an abortion repeal bill back to Parliament. Most LNP and ALP members have ruled out any changes when it comes to this. So are you just grandstanding on this?
No, so what I'm determined to do is put back in the Babies Born Alive bill, which is really just mimicking what is the practice code in Queensland Health right now, which is saying if a baby's planned abortion comes out breathing with a heartbeat, probably going to struggle for life, but that they can just give it some care and dignity. It's a human rights issue. It's not an abortion issue to me. That's what we've determined to put back in. We put it in the last Parliament. That didn't even get support from Liberal and Labor in the committee system. I want to put that in first into the next Parliament, and we'll see what happens.
So you're not expecting any progress here?
No. You know, we're definitely going to put the Babies Born Alive, but I think unlikely, given that the committee from Liberal and Labor both haven't supported even that.
So why do you think this is making so much noise?
I think it's because backbenchers from the major parties try and give two messages. They try and tell people in the regions and say, oh, no, we've got this opinion, and then it conflicts with Brisbane. They try and piece it all together in the media, and someone calls them out, and they're scrambling. So it happens with Liberal and Labor. It's happened with Liberal this time, and they've been found trying to ride two horses at once.
You know, the last time I interviewed your dad, we spoke for 5 minutes. I got one question. We've been speaking for the same amount of time. I got at least 4 or 5 questions. So you're doing something a little different there. Have you learned some lessons?
Maybe I don't have as many ideas to spill out of that.
Robbie, appreciate that. Thank you so much, Robbie Katter from KAP, and hoping to pick up 1 or 2 seats this election year.
2 would be great.
That'd be the top at the higher end. All right, Robbie, thank you so much. We'll talk to you again soon.